You're dialed in to the Pullcast, the voice of pulling in the West. Here's your announcer and host, Kenny Eggleston.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 2 weeks in a row. I know, nobody thought I could do it, but 2 weeks in a row, Pullcast Live coming at you. And not only on the Pulling Radio Network, but the dawn of the Pulling Radio Network is going to be live casting this as well. And I'm going to kick over to that live cast right now. So if it's a real nasty, horrendous noise until I get the sound turned off on, I'm not exactly sure how to make this.
The voice of pulling in the West. Here's your announcement.
That just happened. All right, cool. We are all... See, we've already got our first customer on there, Wendell.
Oh, darn.
Wendell's lovely girlfriend, Shan. How you doing, Shan? We've got two guests in the house. I'm really excited about it. Man, we are pegging out. I think I finally found my volume issue. So hopefully if that gets too loud, Ray will let me know. But anyway, I've got two great guests in studio tonight, Ryan Thane and Wendell Pitcher. Ryan recently reelected as president of United Truck and Tractor Pullers. Wendell has been on the show before as well, but as the United Sled Operator. Now, the vice president of United Truck and Tractor Pullers, because you just can't get enough.
I guess not.
And I know my voice has a little bit of an echo. I finally found out the problem, just nothing I can do about it right now. So just bear with me for about 2 more shows, and I'll have it fixed. But I'll just try to talk quietly so it doesn't come over these other shows. But so we are live on chat. We are on the live feed on the Pulling Radio Network Facebook page. So however you want to listen, you can get it done right there. But first off, congratulations, both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You know, being elected into a position of an association like this that's member-owned, it's a bittersweet thing. You know, I mean, you want to make sure that you do the best that you can for every puller involved, and you look for your opportunity to kind of take do your time, I guess, for lack of a better term. But it isn't something. It's kind of tough on an annual election. Ryan, you can speak to this, and Wendell, you've seen presidents come and go for the past 15 years now, I think, that
approximately,
you've been involved. So, but can you make change? Can you improve it, an association in 1 year, and then step down and go, I'm happy with that. Oh, there's one problem with the echo. Okay, that's better. I mean, just from the outside looking in, I mean, I'm not going to hold you to anything, but do you think in your first year of it that you did everything that you wanted to do, or?
A lot of it.
Got a lot done?
Yeah, I think we made some big improvements.
So you're stepping up to the plate again just to continue to improve those things, or just kind of carry them out? Good
no,
deal.
we'll keep making it better and better.
Now, this is something interesting, and I can't remember. It seems like one of the last years that we were involved with United. Have you guys implemented something that a rule has to stay in effect for a certain amount of time just to make sure to see if it sticks? Or I get confused because we did that with the Rodeo Association, because the problem we were having is they'd make a new rule, and then before anybody would see it through, people would complain about it or bitch about it to the point where it's like, this ain't going to work. And instead of giving it a chance to try, they would do that. But you guys, maybe, I was thinking that there was something like that, but maybe I'm confused with.
Well, you won't have anything change mid-season.
Right.
You know, like we have our meeting, whatever each class decides, is that they're sticking with it for the season.
Stone. Okay,
yeah.
Good deal. Good. Any big new changes? I know you got a list here of probably some rule changes and schedules and things like that, but first off, overall, I know the individual class rules are interesting, but is there any like general membership rule changes or anything to that effect that came up?
A couple bylaw changes, and then membership fees went up.
Okay.
You know, we've probably still, even with the raise in price, we're still probably about the lowest membership fees anywhere I've ever been pulling.
Oh, we got a whole new audience base out in Kentucky. And I would love, because I saw it published. And I know what I paid for Goose to be a member. And I think these guys will probably be really shocked at what your membership fees are. What did they go up to?
Went up to $75.
Up to, not up $75, but up to $75.
Yep.
And I think anybody that wants to chime in with what your average membership fee is, I can't remember. I know we've got a handful with the KTPA out there, but I know what was it? The NTPA is like dang near $600 or something. I think is what I heard. But yeah, so yeah, very good. So what's next? So you raised it, and then what are some of the bylaw changes?
The main bylaw change we had is the big, we're with our club and class rules. When we have a meeting about rule changes and what they want to do, the whole crowd gets to vote on each class. Mm-hmm. So, namely, you got Joe Blow raising their hand because he did, and anyway, that was the main bylaw change was to vote changes to your rules. You have to have been in that class for the 2 years prior. And be there to vote for that class.
Okay.
So you don't have people that it doesn't even affect.
They don't really have a dog in it. That makes for a long meeting, too, sometimes.
Yeah, it shrunk our meeting up by 4 hours. So
did it really? Well, I was going to come over and say hi Saturday, but I was like, I don't really have that much time because I knew I'd get to visiting with people and everything. But So incidentally, that's why we've got these guys on. First, I wanted to see them. So glad to have them in the studio, but they did just have their meeting, and that's why I wanted to strike while the iron was hot and discuss some of this new stuff coming up. And now, was there any other bylaw changes like that?
No, that's it on the bylaws.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other, you're the only officer position that changed, is that correct? Mm-hmm. Wendell? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that was pretty quick. Did you run opposed? Did anybody... Let's bring the dirty laundry out. What do we care?
No, well, vice president really was the only one that had a change. Other than that, there was not even really a vote. Everybody pretty much
just reinstated everybody else. And so your wife, Tilly's still the promoter. Mm-hmm. Saw that. Cool.
We did add some techs. To try to keep the techs a headache,
Oh, man.
We have 4 techs.
Well, I'll tell you what.
So.
They should get a wage. That's all I'm going to say. There should be like a $5 membership fee just to go to the techs, just to put up with that stuff. It's so crazy. I mean, and I get it. I mean, as a competitor, you want to make sure that you got the fair shake and everything. So, we got folks checking in from Detroit. Andy, Pedal to Metal in the house. Sorry, this is good. And Steve Dye, and I want to talk to you about Steve Dye a little bit. He's checking in from Kentucky because I got some news for you guys. Is hopefully you're going to find really cool, and I'm hoping that inspires some more tractor action out here in this part of the country. And they haven't committed to it, but they're flirting with the idea, and I'm going to keep on helping them flirt as much as I possibly can. But we might see some limited light super stock tractors out here. So, have you ever seen an alcohol tractor at one of our polls?
Not at one of our polls. Just
So, and the limited light super stock is cool because you can run diesel or alcohol configuration. It's a cubic inch and RPM and all kinds of stuff like that, which I can't even start to get into. And I was talking to Steve about trying to get him to come out to Gillette, and then we'd probably try to get him lined up to hit Evanston as well. And a couple other shows out here. And he's like, well, if the tracks are as loose as you say that they are, could we add like 200 pounds? I'm like, you're class, guys. You do whatever the heck you want. You're going to tech yourselves because we've never seen anything like it. So, but the cool part about limited light super stock is pulling is not cheap, even if you're pulling with an old pickup sitting in the back pasture. It's just not one of those things that's cheap. No. But as far as somebody that wanted to get into a pulling tractor, that limited light super stock class is really ideal. And then everybody that I talk to in Kentucky is like, you have them call us, whatever we need to do to help. We can get them set up on it. So anyway, I was going to hold up on that a little bit, but Steve checked in, so I figured, hey, what the heck. But Austin Wagner just said that the KTPA is $250 a year for their memberships. And Austin, ballpark, how many hooks do you guys do in a year with the KTPA? Or we'll have to, you guys check in and let us know that, and we'll get back to it in a second. That's what's really hard about doing a show like this. When we used to pre-record them, we could stay on subject really good, but we'll get a discussion going up here. And it's fun to kind of check it out. So, Steve Old Lumpy Salivetti He's like, he likes watching this stuff more than TV. That's what's so cool about his live feed stuff. And you guys, thank you for pardoning my dust. We're actually turning the Pullcast studio into a TV studio, so pretty soon we're going to live feed and we're going to do the simulcast without Ray having to do a bunch of work. And once again, big thanks to Ray. He is the Dawn of the Pulling Radio Network out there in New York, all the way from Utah, staying up late because it's 2 hours later back there than it is here, and producing the live feed stuff. So this is pretty cool. And Shan is making fun of your pictures that Ray put up.
Everyone makes fun of my pictures.
Usually, like, all your Facebook pictures are of injuries that you've received, Wendell.
Pretty common.
There's an X-ray as your wallpaper right now, or whatever they call it. What's that?
I love that one.
That's a it makes me a little queasy. So just to rehash, and anybody that's just tuning in right now, we are talking to the new president and vice president of United Truck and Tractor Pullers, which is, I would dare say, at least on the I-15 corridor, the biggest pulling association in the from Colorado to California right now. I mean, it's spanning pretty wide, and you guys' membership is growing all the time too. That's what I want to talk about. Don't let me forget that. I want to get back to that that you did last year. I want to get some feedback, or get the story on that, I guess, for lack of a better term. Wow, I'm tired. I've been working on this thing all day, the studio, and I don't even know where I'm going with this. Sled condition. How's the sled doing?
It's good. You know, we put all that work into it last year over the winter. It was pretty well bulletproof all season. You know, well-deserved season of just go.
Yeah. Well, and I had the opportunity, and I want to just thank you publicly right now for letting me step up to the microphone. I actually intended to come over to Tremont and do a live broadcast of this on the Pulling Radio Network, or of that pull, but it's probably still the biggest pull as far as people coming and number of hooks that you go through. It's definitely one of the biggest definitely the biggest in Utah, probably the biggest in Idaho, 4 or 5 surrounding states. I mean, it's huge, and it's been going for a lot of years. And I wanted to come and broadcast that one, and you guys let me announce, which was pretty awesome. That
anytime.
Burley and Morgan. It was just, it was kind of fun because, we just had been on a marathon. I went down to try to chase some sponsors down in Cedar City, and then so I drove all the way down there, which is 4 or 5 hours. Stayed the night down there, drove over to Vernal, which was close to 6 hours, and then came back, and that's when you started texting me when you found out Skylar was going to go pull, and you were texting me going, "Hey, are you coming over?" And I was like, I wasn't going to. I kind of beat, and then Skylar basically told me I was coming, and you're like, "Got a microphone for you if you want to jump in." So, and thanks to both the Gillises too for not letting me hang out with them. Me and Glenn go way back. We've talked about him quite a bit on the show. So it's been a lot of fun working with those guys. But what I have decided, though, that we need for the Pulling Radio Network is a correspondent from United Truck and Tractor Pullers. And we'll discuss the details of that a little bit when we get done. And because I think that we need to do that to keep you guys updated. And obviously audio or video is the way to go. And you guys have been taking advantage of the live feed stuff. I see getting a lot of good hits on that. And I'll tell you what, it's amazing. When we did the Kentucky Invitational last week, throughout the weekend, our total reach was, and granted it overlaps a little bit, but when you can look and see 3 million people, when you're begging for, on these podcasts, sometimes it's like you're just dying for 10, 15, 20. We get pretty excited when we see 60 or 65. And then as soon as we start doing live feed stuff, I don't know where we're at now, but we'd never had the Pullcast go. I think a farm show episode was like 2,000 or something like that. And then when we did the live feed, now that it's been sitting there for a week, we've had over 3,500 views on it. So pretty cool stuff. And it's kind of cool to get the word out. And then the part that I like too, and this is why I'm bringing this up before we get into the rules and stuff, is I tend to get on the soapbox and preach about this stuff when you know exactly where we're going. But where we are talking, we have the opportunity now. Here we go. Weekend on the Edge. Little footage from United Truck and Tractor Pullers coming at you right here. This is a big year-end event for Weekend on the Edge, which is the Edge Pulling Series. Anyway, now we've got some inroads and stuff, and I never dreamed that I'd get to go to Kentucky and announce when your brother brought me into this, Ryan. And we probably, again, we're picking up a lot of new listeners, so we're going to go back over how our relationship started and how my relationship with pulling got started, but we'll do the Reader's Digest version of it real quick. But getting some uniformity in rules in some of these classes, because I don't think I told you this, but basically, I did tell you that. But when I went and did the Kentucky Invitational, they were just dying to see something that the folks hadn't seen out there before. And so any applicable class, they encouraged anybody out here to put your paperwork in. And again, I know that's a big drive. But when you start building and getting invested in a lot of these pulling rigs and stuff like that, you want to go see how they compete with trucks and tractors, whatever, in other places. And now where there's a buzz about folks coming out here from Kentucky, and there's a Kentucky trip right there. I'll tell you that story later, too. But anyway, just getting some uniformity in the rules and stuff, where even if it's not major modifications, but just so slight modifications have to be made to get in. But anyway, it's happening, is what I'm saying. Is there's actually people looking at coming out here, and I hope that members of United will start looking at maybe going back there. And again, the applicable classes, I think mostly are going to be the two-wheel drive super modified and the 2.6 diesel classes that match up. And I think TNT Motorsports is looking at, as that event grows, that they'll start to evolve and rotate through some of the classes that'll be invited to the Kentucky Invitational. But it's happening right now, and so it's what a lot of us, kind of the reason we started the Pulling Radio Network is to shorten the gap between pulling associations and people interested with a common goal in the sport. But anyway, I'll get off my soapbox as far as that goes. Before I get really off topic conversation. Yeah. Tell me about it. That's the story. Everybody's used to listening to this. I have a hard enough time staying on track, let alone answering questions and comments that pop up. So thank you, Austin. I think Austin needs to be an honorary Pulling Radio Network member. We need to find him a job. He could help the Godfather out. But anyway, Ryan, sorry, go ahead and go. What are your major rule changes this year?
Actually, there's not a whole lot, really.
That'll shorten the meeting up, too.
Yeah, it will. Stock gas class, always there's just a glitch in that rule about not having a drawbar allowed.
Oh, okay.
It's stock, shouldn't have it. It just got missed in the rule book, and so we started getting some drawbars. But the 2.5 is basically that's adopted from NSPA out of Colorado.
Okay.
And so that's just following what they're changing as well,
Gotcha.
which we don't have the updates on. It's just agreed that
that's an association that we overlap with a fair amount, and
right.
Brush and a couple others that
we do. A lot of our guys go out there, and their guys come here. So we try to keep everything in cahoots with them. Us and them, both our diesel classes, are PPL.
Gotcha.
So the one catch we got, which is similar to like NHRDA with the limited pro stock and pro stock, which is the 2630. It's kind of a mixed bag still this year again, where you can still run a 2.6 with a map groove, or you can go to the 3.0 smooth bore.
Okay.
And then the 3.0 map groove, 3.6 smooth bore. So we don't have a lot of the guys out here, they don't have the funding like the guys back east have got for these trucks. And so
definitely.
They don't have the money to keep dumping into new turbos every time the rule changes. So
right, and I think that's a good idea to have kind of a carryover, so that the guys that want to compete on a certain level, it kind of sucks to not. I mean, if you want to compete in the 2.6 class and you can't afford to get those upgraded turbos and stuff, but by the same token, from a president, a promoter, and everything else, you can't add a bastard class going, this is a 2.6 with the regular turbo, this is the one with the bigger one, just because at that point in time, what we're pulling for, ultimately, even though we're pulling for ourselves, we're still trying to sell a ticket. Makes it tough for your announcer to explain that to the class, which they got a kick out of the fact that, Godfather says Austin's already in order. That's kind of the big difference between here and there is they don't have to start a show off explaining how the sled works. Like I used to do for United. Well, actually, I do it at every show out here because whenever I ask how many people are here at their very first show ever, it's like about a third of the people. And Austin corrected me. They still do have quite a few people that new people come to shows in Kentucky, and but at least somebody sitting next to you can explain it to you. And out here, it's just that little bit different thing that we have to explain. And when you get an explanation of a class, I don't even know. I've never even tried to explain the turbo thing to a crowd because it's going to go over half their head.
Right.
And so it's just one of those things that if you're sitting in the stands and somebody asks a member or something like that, then they can explain that to them if they have enough savvy about it. But if you add a normal 2.6 class and then a 2.6 class with the smooth bore or the impeller, I don't even know the right lingo for it. You diesel guys kind of throw me sometimes. but I know what it means. I don't know what to call it.
Right.
It's the thing. But so Wendell, are you going to be still, even as vice president, you're still going to be operating the sled
Yes.
for the most part?
If I need to, we do have someone that wants to learn and is willing to learn.
Cool.
So if I do need to go do something, he is more willing to learn to get up in there and operate it also.
Who's that?
Scott Martini.
Oh, cool.
The same guy that actually has
That
been
hauls
hauling
it.
the sled.
Yeah.
So,
Fantastic. Boy, that's great.
yeah.
And that's what's cool, too, as far as sponsorships and stuff go. And do you guys want to talk about sponsorships? Anything new this year? Anything fun, exciting?
A little bit, yeah. It's early for a lot of sponsors.
Right.
A lot of them wait till after that meeting before they even say.
Gotcha.
But, Edge Products is, of course, they're back on board. The
Fantastic.
title sponsor, Leading Edge Lights, they've stepped up this year. Put out a pretty hefty check to us to basically wrap our weight box. So he owns our
that's
weight box
great.
on the sled. So
Fantastic.
and OptiLube and Moonlight Diesel. That's all we've got so far that have jumped on.
Committed
But it's been 2 days, so
Yeah, no, I understand completely. Well, that's great. And the Leading Edge Lights and the trailer part of it too, or
he's more into just the lights now. So yeah,
Okay.
he does do some trailer stuff. So, but yeah, he's any light that you need for a truck,
Oh, man.
trailer, whatever, he's got it.
I've been checking that out. Now, do they have just for my information, do they have a storefront, or are they mostly?
No. He's talking about it, but right now, no.
It's pretty much all
Online,
internet based
yeah.
and stuff like that, and they're based out of Hooper, Utah, which
In fact, I think he's getting into chrome stuff too for semis. So
oh really?
we'll have somebody here nearby to get all your chrome accessories for trucks. So.
Oh, that'll be great. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, that's really good to hear. And then, but you just mentioned that you guys did tear down the sled this year, just to maintenance and check it over and
Yeah.
everything. That's pretty impressive when you do that much of a rebuild to it. You photo finished into UCC with it, worked on it the night before, got it down there, ran good. Couple of electrical glitches is about all that you saw, right? All summer long.
Yeah, we had the one was just one of the fans shorted out, which caused a chain effect down through the wire.
Sure.
But
Well, I'll tell you, that's impressive because all of us have seen some of these homemade rigs, which in essence, that's what that sled is. I don't think there's any original parts left on it from when it was it wasn't even self-propelled, I think, when United first got it, was it?
this one was.
Was it? But it had a
Yeah, originally
Chevy
it had
350.
it had a Dodge 318 or 360 in it.
Oh, really? Is
And
that
with
what
the
it was?
automatic behind it, and
Okay. But did it have that cab on it?
no. It
Jerry-
was open cab on the back, and it was a backbreaker on the seat. You don't want to sit down on that seat on that sled because you'll break your back bouncing down the track.
That's so cool. It's funny how we get emotionally attached to those things. That and you, in particular, you've been operating it for how long, Wendell?
God, I don't know.
as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I know it was always, that's pretty cool. And then to get to know it and be able to set it, you feel pretty confident in setting it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Usually,
like, you know.
Usually after you get the first 2 pullers, you kind of, know where you got to set it to get them to stop where you want them. And I mean, for me, I want it, progressive class, so the next class pulls it a little bit further than the class before, just so
Gotcha.
it makes it, to me, it just makes it seem more, this truck has more power, so why didn't it pull it as far?
Yeah.
They're all pulling the same distance, but yet this truck has 1,000 horsepower compared to, 250 or whatever.
Now,
So,
on some of those other speed sleds and stuff, I've had some operators tell me that on the dirt out here, the typical kind of soil that we're doing, that a lot of times the 3.0 trucks will actually pull further than the super stocks, or what we call pro mod.
It's the tires. A lot of these sandy tracks, them DOT tires will pull farther
They'll hook on
than our pulling tire. I know a lot of you guys out east probably think we're full of it, but I've
true.
experienced it personally.
Yeah.
I would give anything to put duals back on the back of my truck compared to them pulling tires.
I'll bet. And by the way, we should talk about, you can check out Ryan Thane's page, Moonlight Madness Pulling.
Yep.
Is what it's called. And he's got Moonlight Madness, and it's now a super stock, getting more super stock, y'all. Or I say super stock so I'll tell you what, it's going to throw me for a loop when I get into a live show, but if I keep going back east, I'm gonna have to make sure and I'm gonna have to make sure and get adjusted to that too, because we have I think, well, I got a rule book right here. I think that we call it, wow, how would that be? Pro stock 4x4. You guys don't want to hear me thumb through this, but I think that we went that way as well, just to kind of try to stay with the times and not confuse things too much. But and especially for this podcast, because again, our biggest listener base is out there in the Midwest. When I talk about a pro mod diesel, they're like, "What the hell is that?" So, anyway, yeah. But you actually, it was set up as a 3.2 for a long time, and then association after association starts dropping that 3.2 altogether.
Right.
And you guys kind of made a hybrid version of that. And we talked about it last year that you guys kind of voted it in. It's not a 3.2, but it's a street.
Yeah, it's called
diesel
Open Street.
Open Street.
Yeah. And it's basically, it's a home for the streetable twins.
Gotcha.
Because they don't have one.
Yeah.
With a 3.2, we could throw them as a 3.2, but you can't really throw them into the super stock.
Right.
Don't.
But you did get rid of the 3.2 altogether, right?
Yep.
Okay. So added the 2.5, 2.6, 3.0. But did you guys run a 2.5 last year? Mm-hmm. Okay. That's what we tried not to, but we couldn't. I mean, because especially where we're going into some new areas and these guys wanted to bring their trucks out, and that's kind of what they'd fit into or what they'd been following and everything. So, it worked out pretty good.
Well, lots changed. A few years ago, if you had an aftermarket turbo, you pulled in the 2.6 class, even if you was driving down the road. But you got some guy with an aftermarket turbo that drives his truck down the road. He's not interested in pulling against them 2.6 trucks anymore.
Right.
So we had to make that 2.5 class for them street level trucks.
No, I totally understand. And again, we're very dependent on getting those folks out there for the first time and seeing if they like it or if they don't like it or what it is. But obviously, pretty much all of us sitting here, I need to build you guys a cough button over there for that. That was pretty slick though, Wendell. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So
probably lost a few brain cells there, but
yeah, it's all right. You can sneeze in here. It's fine. We're not that formal. We like to think we're pretty professional, but we're pretty impressed with what we're doing. And Brandon Johnston. Kenny's famous word should be squirrel. Thanks, crew chief. Brandon Johnston. You guys have met Brandon. 9 feet tall, Colorado. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the crew chief. He's the crew chief of the Pullcast. And out go the lights. Let's see. I was just trying to scroll back through. That's a problem, is keeping some continuity and trying to keep an eye on all of these comments. If you guys have any questions for United, especially you guys back in Kentucky, don't be shy. Oh, shit. Oh. You don't have any brain cells left, Wendell, is what she says. We could probably block her if you want. Just kidding, Shan. She was saying such nice things about me last week when I didn't even know to check the comments out here. Okay, Chuck Hobbs wants to know, do you have a 31 by 15.5-inch tire class? So in other words, that's your
CPEC pulling tire.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's talking the gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our pro stock gas class. Is we did made some tweaks to that one because the Montana class is up there. They actually allow that same cubic inch motor to run a DOT tire and not a pulling tire. So that pro stock class allows up to the 31-inch CPEC or 35-inch DOT. But that's up to 565 cubic inch, I think.
Yes.
For that class.
565. And somebody remind me, because the pro stock class that pulled in Kentucky, I thought it was pretty interesting. It's actually a lighter weight class overall, because our pro stock out here is still 62, 65.
I'm not sure.
So I think so I think it's similar in weight to the super stock class, but out there their pro stocks are a little bit smaller cubic inch, and I think it was up to 400. I should have got better educated on it. In fact, I could pull the rules up from the Kentucky Invitational, but it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of the S10 bodies and stuff like that. In fact, the one that won it was a Toyota body, but iron body, just like the pro stock out here. The big difference is I think they were 5,800 pounds, and somebody will probably jump in and let me know if that's accurate or not. But bear with me for just a second, folks. I'm going to scroll down here and try to make sure that we get any questions answered that you might have thrown out. And 14 to 16 hooks for the KTPA. That's a Kentucky Tractor Pullers Association. So how many hooks you guys got potentially? I know schedules are really hard to set right now.
Yeah, well, they're not all contracts are done, but right now, 3, 4, 5. We got 13. That's including the 2 with you guys up in Wyoming.
Okay.
So
cool.
But there's some more that we don't have contracts for yet to add to that list, but that's where we're sitting right now.
Now, I should know, but Chantel, see, she says such nice things about me. She likes to listen to me talk.
I'm glad she says nice things about you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was trying to find a girlfriend in Kentucky. Not for... Because I'm
not for one night.
Trust me. Yeah, exactly. I am going to be going back out there, so I didn't want to burn any bridges. I just love the place, whether it's pulling or not. You guys have got to go because did you make it to the farm show yet?
I haven't yet. No.
Okay. You need to come out to the Kentucky Invitational with me next year because. Yeah, I'm planning on coming, folks. Just in case. I don't know if they want me out there, but anyway. Getting to actually see Kentucky, because when you fly into Louisville and then you go from the airport to the hotel and then over to Freedom Hall, then maybe down to 4th Street Live, there's a lot of cool stuff there, don't get me wrong. But actually getting to go, I got to see a good chunk of it from Maysville, which is the hometown of George Clooney. That's where he grew up. That's where the resident redneck Dave Foltz grew up too. And then going into Lexington and just seeing those wide open fields with the big horse barns and everything like that, you don't really get to see any place when you just fly in, hit a hotel, hit a venue or something like that. So, but no, the reason I was looking for a girlfriend out there is just one that would call me. Because that boy is just something else. And if they like to hear me talk, then, because we all know what I look like. So if they can close their eyes and imagine somebody else, that'd be just fine with me. But I need to get me a Kentucky girlfriend just to call and talk to me. So, no, I'm not going to Cloverdale.
I guarantee with that motor, there's just as much go as there is show.
How did I forget his name?
Mike Harding.
Yeah, Mike, sorry. No, Mike, I'm not going to Cloverdale. The hill climb stuff is going to be going on, so that's what I'll be doing. And then what kind of mini rock classes do we have, Chuck? We have, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, because Wendell's more familiar with. What?
You got them three, Kenny.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry if I'm shaking. It's cold
Which
out
one?
here.
Right there, the one you said about the mini class.
Oh, okay.
In September.
Oh, what kind do we have in September? Well, actually, we need to broach that subject with you guys, and Chuck, I'll have to check. I'm not sure. I guess it depends on if we can put that United hat is gone, right? I mean, it's still red,
but it's barely worth its weight in steel.
Yeah.
It's garbage.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did have a lot
That
of
is
talks
the maiden
about,
voyage for that new
you know,
motor, so
there's a
not
lot of
bad.
minis sitting in garages
The
now,
happy hooker out here,
especially with
300 or beyond.
RPA being done. There's a ton of minis sitting in garages,
Yeah.
no home. So yeah, that's a lot of our talk, and we don't have any answers yet. But yeah,
Gotcha.
we do need a mini sled.
Okay.
We're working on how to approach that and what we can get, you know, to get the minis somewhere to pull. So
I'll tell you what, if we could get Robbie to build another one and make us a
Yeah.
deal on his or the new one, something like that. But I do want to basically all the mini classes that we have out here are your kind of your natural, which is alcohol up to 650 cubic inches, 2,000 pounds. And then I'm going from memory here. And you guys haven't changed those rules in a while, have you?
no,
We do.
those pretty well follow the NTPA. So whatever.
Gotcha. And our micro class is different. We don't have the motorcycle engines. I mean, anybody that wanted to come out and pull, if we've got a mini sled there, and we advertise pretty hard, both associations, both Live a Little and United Truck and Tractor Pullers. If there's going to be a mini sled there, we make sure and get the word out so folks can get the dust blown off of them. But our blown class is 2,050 pounds up to 572 cubic inches. And then if we do have a micro class, it's the little car engines of 2.5. And I think we haven't really adhered to the weight, but I think the original plan was 1,550. But when we were putting them on the big sled, we basically threw everything we could find on them to get those little things down the track. So that's kind of how we do that. Okay. So Chuck Cobb's wanting to put a shout out to the Indoor Winter Nationals Garden Tractor Pull in Springfield, Ohio this weekend. And just so everybody knows, next week, if I can get it all lined up, I don't know if it's going to be live. It'll probably be me live and then a playback of the interview, but we will have Donnie Fagundes of Max Cackle out in California talking about the Winter Nationals coming up there, which is actually the same night as the first night of the farm show, or has been. I guess I should double check those dates. A bunch of things jumped around because of a weird year this year. But anyway, 235. What's a 2.5 liter, Wendell?
What's a 2.5 liter?
Yeah, how many cubic
inch.
That's like...
Oh, I couldn't tell you for sure. It's 2.5 liters.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I don't know, Chuck, that might fit. I don't know. But anyway, let's see.
For the people watching this that was asking about that 31 and a half.
Oh, yeah?
That's your pro stock trucks right there that just ran on the video.
Oh, okay. There you go. So is that Mark? Yeah.
That's Mark.
So that's Mark Connor right there. He's one of our toughest, without a doubt, in that class. So that's a pro stock? That's not
He's
what
pro
you call
stock.
super stock?
No, he moved
Oh,
up to pro stock.
that's right. That's right. So our pro stock is, yeah, okay. I'm with you now.
Yeah, we're a little back.
So it's kind of an entry level. Well, but we could make it fit, though. You know what I mean? So if somebody wanted, if you're within the sound of us, Ray fixed that, I think, Shan. He accidentally was playing the audio over the top of us. So they're getting some good engine noises. But yeah, I mean, seriously, if you guys want to come out, we'll make a big deal of you being out here. We're pretty flexible as far as how it goes, whether or not we can fit you into a payout. We're always happy to do something that's called an exhibition, and we do a little bit of an explanation. So if you're passing through or coming somewhere or going somewhere, oh my gosh, Tilly is ripping on you.
Yeah.
That's Ryan's wife up there that says he's such a talker. Can someone please shut him up? Listen, I'm trying to keep him talking, for crying out loud. Yeah, Wendell has barely talked. As I'm trying to think of something to get him
jerky.
going. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Wendell comes in bearing gifts that he's eaten most of, but it's for me. Got a bunch of smoked goose. Showed me a picture of he and his hunting party went out and had 20 geese.
Yeah.
Was it that you had piled up out there? So, yeah, we do a little hunting, and that's good jerky. That's good stuff. I don't usually like water birds. That's good. You didn't tell me what it was before I ate it. I might not have tried it.
It's probably going to spit it out.
But there's some of that stuff that went on in Kentucky, too, that just eat it. Okay.
Yeah, shut up.
But just a little bit on Ryan Thane's history with truck and tractor pulling, too, because we told the story. We had him on last year, similar to tonight. But so I was announcing rodeos, and Ryan's family is actually responsible for me getting into truck and tractor pulling because I was a rodeo announcer, and his brother, who owns Moonlight Diesel, I begged him. And he worked a deal on working on the old first gen, which is still running. That's a testament right there. First place I took it when I got it back here was to Moonlight Diesel. That was the first time I'd ever met him. And he didn't know who he was sponsoring because I never announced anything around here. I tried to get out of town as much as I could. It's a rodeo announcing thing that we've talked about on past shows. You can go check that out. Yeah, so I was doing a demolition derby for the sheriff's office here, and that's where Ryan's brother Terry heard me, and he's like, "Hey, we want you to do our pull," and the rest is history. So here we go. But any chance of, I've asked Terry a few times, any chance of kicking gas coming back? It is the coolest
sure
first gen pulling truck. It actually was invited to go to Louisville, and a family emergency came up, and he wasn't able to actually go. But one of the first trucks out here, and man, I'd have loved to have seen, especially if you look at the timeline. Terry's always been on the cutting edge of everything, and there's still a lot of things that I'm sure they're legal, but just those engines have such a different sound, and I say that all the time, but one that Terry has built doesn't sound like anything I've ever heard anywhere else. It's just incredible. And in fact, nope, that's not the one that's out there now. I was just going to say we got one 2.6 truck that left here and is in upstate New York, and now Ray Toluca gets to announce it every once in a while. The black one. But yeah. Now, where's Adam's truck? Is he still got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Adam Hulse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
He still got it.
Yeah.
He didn't run last year, but
Well,
Adam, if you're listening, get that truck back out here.
yeah. Well, I'm hoping that our new presidential situation will allow some people to get back out and pull again. So, yeah. Anyway, that's enough said. But that's what I think it was a financial situation for Adam, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. But here's a guy that shows up and pulls. Did he pull 2.6 the first time he showed up to a pull? I can't remember. It's kind of a Ryan Thane story because how many miles does, if you had to, I don't even know if your odometer's still hooked up, but now how many miles does Moonlight Madness have on it?
Probably 15 more than last year. It's 16,000 something.
His brand new work truck. That's how Ryan Thane starts out in the pulling world. And but yeah, no, Adam Holtz, he wound up with probably, well, I'll stand by it, one of the toughest 2.6 engines I've ever seen go down the track, and bulletproof. Holy crap. So hopefully he'll come out. But yeah, he shows up, same deal, pulls in his pickup, and I think within 3 weeks or something, he had dumped another $40,000 into that truck, took it off the road. It's like, I'll get another pickup, I don't care. So it's pretty dang cool. I love it. But let's see. What? Now, wait a minute. Oh, Tilly's taking care of business for us over there. True promoter. She's getting us covered. She's answering questions that I'm missing. And
the first gen. Yeah, Terry's first gen. I ask him about it all the time, but
yeah,
it's collecting half the parts are on my truck, so.
Well, and that's the tough part about it, though. Obviously, Moonlight Diesel doing really good. In fact, that picture that we used for the promo that you guys saw, 20 years of for Moonlight Diesel, and we had a big party out there, which is pretty cool with jumping over semis with motorcycles and all kinds of cool stuff like that. So that business is thriving very well. And Terry's a hands-on kind of guy. You take something to Moonlight Diesel, it's not, because I was just complaining to both of you two about a mechanic type situation that I ran into, that the cat didn't know what the mouse were doing, and it may have been potentially disastrous for me. But the top one right there. Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah. So, but Terry oversees everything that goes through that shop. He's not just the guy that's sitting there writing checks or counting his money or anything like that. He's very hands-on. In fact, a lot of times you don't even think the guy works there because you never see him there. But it's because he's got his head under the truck or something like that. I don't think anything doesn't roll out of there without his approval. And if you're going to have that kind of reputation with the company, I understand why you can't really play with the pulling trucks all that much, especially one like that. But anyway, no, that's pretty cool. Well, I'm trying to think of a good story on you, Wendell, other than the trip to Elko, I think, is probably my favorite Wendell story. And
when we were trying to fall asleep and you couldn't?
Well, that was on the way home. On the way down, there's no way I could fall asleep at 117 miles an hour. And a truck that he calls road rage.
Yes. That was a nice little incident. That's why it got its name.
So we might have to tell that story in a minute. But no, so Wendell and I decided to get together and save a little bit of money because I was announcing. Obviously, he was operating the sled when we had our pull in Elko. This would have been 2000. Wow, that would have been 2011, I think, because 2012 is when I started the Pullcast. And it was the year after that I was like, no, thanks, Wendell, I'll ride my motorcycle. And we saw how that worked out.
Yeah, you ran out of gas.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's how the Pullcast got started right there. But no, we're buzzing out there and going out across. You go through a lot of desert, and there's kind of a back road to Elko, for lack of a better term, back road that's about 250 miles long. And we got out on the open road and everything, and I'm just over there riding along, smooth as glass. What year's road rage?
99.
A 99 Cummins. And I look over, or no, you pointed it out to me, that your top speed was 117 miles an hour. We were cruising.
That's before I let off of it, because it felt like I was floating in the air.
They're not exactly Vipers, are they?
No.
So, needless to say, we got there in plenty of time. And then, but no, on the way back, that was one of those. We got into a habit of watching the sun come up at almost every pull that year.
Well, we know who to blame for that.
Yes, we do. And I don't know if he's listening or not, but thanks, Skyler.
I was going to blame Russ, but...
Okay, you know what? I think that's accurate. Because we were trying to keep him from going to jail.
Yeah.
He's walking around with that traffic cone on his head.
Yeah, and the security guard yelling at him.
Yeah. That security guard picked on the wrong dude. Russ is small, but he's dynamite that comes in a small package. So yeah, he was picking on the wrong guy, and then he got me upset. Well, that was a year before you and Shan started dating. She remembers. So that's probably why I didn't ride with you that time. She wouldn't let me.
But, you can always ride in the back of the truck, Kenny.
Yeah. Oh, wait. It was a year before we started dating. She remember? Yeah, because you guys stopped to make sure I wasn't going to die. But...
Well, then on the way back, you thought we were going to get breakfast. And
oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, we slept for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We went to the hotel room. And weirdly enough, I was up. But you called me. And you're like, you ready to go? I'm like, yeah, let's get out of here. And... yeah, you just left Elko, and there's nothing between Elko and Snowville, which, again, that's probably about 150 miles of sagebrush right there. And I'm like, this guy doesn't eat at all. But we hadn't eaten for, I don't remember when we had dinner, even. It was... Did
we have dinner that night?
I don't think so, actually, yeah. So I don't even think we had lunch.
I think we just had liquid bread.
I think you're right, because we actually got in trouble for having a liquid bread plenty of time before the poll started, but the president at the time was about ready to kick our butts. So, Todd, the pizza was actually fantastic. In fact, I'll send you a picture of it right there. That's my buddy Todd Stone. He is part of the Georgetown Mafia out there. Have you guys... So this is a conversation I wanted to get into. Let me just hurry in. Yeah, let me just stop the show and send a text message. Todd, I'll send it to you in a minute. I took a picture for you and forgot to send it. So it's a pizza thing.
Squirrel,
that restaurant, So I'm having a conversation with one person right now with probably one of the better audiences that I've ever had. And now, excuse me. See? Happens to all of us. Oh, really?
What?
Was that the first time you ever had Flying J pizza?
Not the first time, but
because
I usually every time I drive by every Flying J, I'll stop by.
Me too. Oh, so good.
And if you wouldn't have went in and got pizza, I probably wouldn't have. I just went in and take a piss, and you went and got food and came back out, and it smelled so good.
Yeah, and then you're like, "Wow, that was pretty good stuff." Yeah, no, that was good stuff. Well, yeah, I didn't forget Youngblood, Todd. I'm taking the whole town into consideration here. So, but yeah, because I was going to tell you guys about have you ever seen I don't know if you guys follow the two-wheelers out there, but I was like in Hollywood. I mean, to be out there with Tim Messer and then the Youngblood pulling truck, and because those are the ones that cross nationally, I guess. But the Longs were out there, and I was like, holy cow, I'm actually going to say their names on a microphone out here. It's just still kind of a crazy situation, but I made a lot of comments, and I'm hoping that the local pullers here don't think that I don't like the pulling out here, because I do. I love it, and I'm a huge fan of it, and I think that we've got some innovators out here that are good contenders. Obviously, geographically, our dirt's a little bit different, but after going to the horse park, I think that dirt, I think they ship it in from Europe. It's like special horse dirt, but when you rub it between your fingers, it doesn't powder, but there's no grit in it. It's pretty fascinating stuff. So, but that being said, that kind of dirt, I think that we could go out there and actually, our setups would work on them. But I kept talking about how we can't help but look out there, because all the TV coverage and everything is coming from PPL or NTPA. And if those trucks showed up here, if Petro showed up here, or if the burn notice truck showed up out here, or any of those, that'd be like a big deal. It's kind of like, it's like a movie star comes to town. And again, not to belittle what we're doing out here, because I think it's kind of cutting edge and it's pretty cool stuff, but that was just incredible to me, because it was, walking into to Broadbent originally, the first time that Skylar ever took me out there, it was just amazing to see all that history. Oh, and the Godfather took me right past Alan Gaines's house, Orange Blossom Special. Oh my gosh, trailer's still out there, and I was just like, wow. But it was just cool to be a part of it. And these days, I know you guys are real focused on club business and stuff like that, but you're still kind of following along what's going on out there and keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak.
Now it's kind of hard to keep up with them Joneses, but
yeah, well, no, as far as just knowing what's going on in the PPL and the NTPA, and because and that's what's cool about what I think we're doing with the Pulling Radio Network is right now, half the people that you see commenting and stuff on there, we've got Michigan covered, we've got Kentucky covered, we've got all these other places, and so it's kind of cool because those folks find their way out here sometimes, whether they're just pulling fans or something, they might find themselves out here for some reason or another, and then to be able to show up and go, oh my gosh, there's Moonlight Madness. That's the guy that was on the Pullcast, and I love what we're doing here, but I just don't want anybody out here that I don't think that we're doing cool things, and that I don't think that cause we've got some tough trucks. Mark Connor that was just up there and he's a tweaker. He built that truck so that it is so easily modifiable that I wouldn't be surprised if he couldn't run out there in their pro stock class with. I bet you he could remove that much weight. I bet you he could scale down his cubic inches somehow.
I don't doubt
it. He's just a wizard on that stuff. So quiet. He's once you get him started talking, it's a little tougher to get him to quit, but he will open up and get going, and you better settle in for a story once he gets talking. But he was one of these guys that was doing some incredible things with a shorter stroke. Then instead of stroking up, he was stroking down to get the RPMs and just clobbering a lot of trucks with it. And now he's kind of changed that again. But anyway, that's something that I want to see. Is that something that you guys would be? If if a truck from, we've always been welcoming like that. And you guys, I mean, we've, the first year, this last year I announced it, but the year we went to Winnemucca and had a lot of those guys from California and Oregon and stuff, that was the first time I'd ever met them or seen them go down the track. And it was just amazing to see the iron that they've got out there. And we're like, to me anyway, I'm like, where did you guys come from? Holy crap.
Yeah.
Gish.
But Gish, well,
Gish.
yeah. I miss Gish. I so miss Gish. In fact, I texted him the other day and was just, I miss you, buddy. But anyway, so that's pretty cool. Well, we pretty well wrapped it up. If anybody has any last-minute questions before we close the show, go ahead and put them up there. I'm trying to check over here. But Tilly, I think Tilly's been getting them covered over there. She's probably got the rule book open and everything. But, well, I appreciate you guys coming out and being on the show. It's kind of nice, actually, having both of you within driving distance of the house, so I don't have to try to mess with phones and conference calls and stuff like that. It works out pretty dang good. But here's another.
You want to talk about Montana, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I
said not
did.
to forget you.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. So you guys did a show in Bozeman.
Yes.
And it looked like it had an incredible turnout.
For being the first year up there, it was the drill well. Yeah.
Did you have a lot of locals? I mean, I know there's actually a following of pulling trucks up there that we didn't even know existed for a long time.
Right. Yeah, we had quite a few of them there.
But you have some first timers with the stock classes that came out, or because I'll tell you, that's kind of been one of our struggles. Is oh boy, here we go.
There's a couple of diesel shops up there that they had quite a few trucks come in. You know, and then also being the week before, or excuse me, it's the week after the NHRDA pull that was only 2 hours away. Oh, that's
right, yeah.
You know, that brought a few trucks in there too. But
that's cool. Well, and it was cool to see a couple trucks from Washington show up, and I think they hit your. Was that all in the same? I'm trying to think if that was all in the same loop. Because I think, did they hit your Bozeman show? Did you guys do our Fort Benton show?
No.
Okay, so we had some guys that I think had hit your poll or hit an NHRDA poll. No, they hit Billings. Yeah, that's right. They hit
Fort
Billings.
Benton was after Billings,
and then came up and hit that one too. So, yeah, well, we're definitely shortening the distances between us, and I hope, if you guys have any questions or anything, you can get on the United Pullers Facebook page. They've got the schedule. Well, they will have, as soon as they get it ironed out, the schedule will be up there. Tristan still does a great job on the website, which is unitedpullers.net. Any other? Yeah,
if you want, the most current with United, follow the Facebook. You'll be more current than the website. But
okay, cool. So, sorry, that's my booby trap chair that Ryan's sitting in there. So he just about thought he was falling to China right there. But let's see. Oh, so Thomas J. Wood wants to know if we're going to be talking about limited light super stocks in the future. What I want to see, Thomas, is I want to see people out here, because a lot of the 1066s and stuff that are pulling tractors out there now are still in the field here. In fact, Wendell, you can speak to that. You probably work on a handful of those with the Pitcher Farming Auto.
Yeah, they have in the 40-20, 30-20s. So all them smaller ones, there's a lot of farmers that still run them out here.
Yeah, and so that's kind of the thing is tractors are just a little bit less disposable, I guess, out here, for lack of a better term. We got a few big operations, but nothing like the hundreds of thousands of acres that a lot of you folks are accustomed to out there. So a lot of those are still in operation. I'm trying to put a finger on why there's not more pulling tractors out here. Why there isn't. They can be a little bit more expensive, but I'm really surprised that with the pulling following that we have here and the size of United Truck and Tractor Pullers, that basically there's two tractors owned by the same guy that come out, and one of them you'll be, most folks listening tonight will be, Jacob Petro, okay. Sweet. But, sorry, I got distracted there again. But I think that's one of the biggest reasons that we don't have it out here, Thomas. But I want to see where that's a class that is extremely entertaining. It's definitely a modified class. But based on what I talked to everybody out there about, it's it's been around for quite a while, but it's catching a lot of steam, and I want to see that. I mean, we'll definitely open up a class. I know you guys wouldn't turn down a tractor that shows up and says, hey, we want to do this. And as a matter of fact, I guarantee we'll put it in our rule book right there. But if, again, anybody that wants to come out here and pull and you're worried about something, we will make concessions as far as I can speak to Live a Little, and I'm sure you guys would too. But you guys want to throw something in, we'll do what we can with the payouts and stuff. But it's nothing that we can't get around. And I think from the conversations that we've had with sponsors on the Live a Little end of things, our sponsors and our venues want to see more tractors. And where possible, they're willing to throw a little bit more money that direction. But I really want to see more tractors out this way, because it was an eye-opening deal. I mean, to as many truck classes versus tractor classes that you see at the farm show and that we had at the Kentucky Invitational. As I told Dave Foltz, I'm like, man, I might be able to hang in there with the truck classes because they're pretty similar. Basically, we base a lot of our rules off those. When it comes to tractors, man, I'm lost. They're smokers. Yeah. That's what I know. And,
well, any of them tractors, if there's anybody that wanted to come out here, call me.
Absolutely.
We'll get you a spot to run for sure.
Well, and that's kind of the cool part about it, too, is between the two... Thomas is looking for a place to pull in winter. Well, Thomas...
We all are.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, we don't have a lot of indoor venues that support pulling. We don't have a single smoke tube out here. But we're sitting on... I think when I was in Kentucky, I was giggling because there's still grass poking up through the snow, and they closed the schools. And in the meantime, Goose is sending me pictures of snow up to her knees, and so it was kind of fun to show those guys. Yeah, they closed the school where I'm at too. But yeah, unless you got snow chains on your pulling tractor, Thomas. Yeah, and Thomas, are you the guy from Texas that called me? I think we had a conversation, but again, as soon as we can get stuff to support it out here, we would. I mean, that's something that definitely Live a Little and United Truck and Tractor Pullers would like to be able to accommodate is some indoor stuff. But we deal with temperatures that are not real conducive today. I think the high was 17 degrees, and I think this morning it was right at about 0. But it's not uncommon for us at this time of year to go into the negatives. And so, from Minnesota, Kate Thomas. So we're as cold as you are. In a way, other than we don't have that humidity that you guys have. So if it's 20 below here, it'll feel like about 40 degrees out there, and I can attest to that because I just came out of it again. So, but your tractor doesn't know the wind chill difference is the big problem. So, but yeah, as soon as we can find a place to support it, and again, we could probably find a track to do it. It's just being able to have an area to warm up, and honestly, we've got some pretty cool fairgrounds, but they're just not set up. A lot of times they shut down and there's nothing going on at a lot of fairgrounds. In fact, I think other than rodeos and stuff. But, yeah. So, anyway, hopefully it sounds like that did answer your questions. All right. Well, thanks again, guys, for coming out. Always a pleasure to have you. And we'll get you back in again, maybe mid-season, and we'll chat about getting hopefully a correspondent to keep us posted on what's going on with United Truck and Tractor Pullers. But again, thanks again to Skyler Nightbar and Spencer Pancarrier, Live a Little Productions. Now I got to throw Brittany in there too. Don't have to, but I'm happy to. Love you, Britt. And the marketing manager for the Pullcast is Naomi Berg. And of course, thanks for listening, crew chief. Always good to know you're there, buddy. Brandon Johnston. My name is Kenny Eggleston, and may the best of your past be the worst of your future.
Don't you know I'm loco?